My husband said I was looking ridiculous when he saw me in lingerie, and it devastated me. I, female 33, have been with my husband, male 37, for 4 years. We had some issues in our marriage here and there, but nothing major. The past year, 2020, was too much for me. I lost my mom, I lost my job, developed health issues. It was a lot I had to deal with, and I wasn't in a good place physically, emotionally, nor mentally. It undoubtedly affected my marriage. My husband kept encouraging me to start taking care of my skin, wear more colorless clothes, and go to the salon to get hair and nails done. But I had no energy for any of that, not to mention lack of money. He, as a result, grew distance from me, and our intimacy went downhill till the point where we wouldn't sleep in the same bed. Recently, I got employed at a decent company. I was excited and felt like I was starting to regain my life again. And once I received my salary, I decided to go do my hair and shop for new dresses, hoping it'd open up the path for my husband and I to start new and wrinkled our love life. I've dyed my hair blonde just like he wanted and bought colorful dresses and organized a romantic dinner for us at home. When he saw my new look for the first time, he kind of looked surprised, but not thrilled. He said I looked nice, and that was it. He quickly ate dinner, then went upstairs to the guest room to sleep there. I was disappointed as I've planned for the night to end up with us having sex for the first time in 6 months. I tried on different dresses and tried to approach him in a certain way to get him in the mood. But he blocked me every time. I was getting frustrated, and last night I waited till 2 a.m. to enter the guest room, wearing his favorite type of lingerie, hoping he'd notice, but he didn't even look at me for more than 5 seconds, just to laugh and shrug. Then I said I looked ridiculous. I was mad at this point. I ached why he was laughing, and wasn't this what he wanted me to do? He said he didn't want to get started with a fight, and I said he was the one acting strange and ignoring my efforts and attempts to work on our marriage. He tried to say I was being over dramatic, and I reminded him that he hasn't touched me or slept in the same bed as me for 6 months. He ignored me and kept looking at his phone. I got upset bluntly, asked if he was getting satisfied elsewhere and that he needed to tell, so I won't waste any more time on this. He looked stunned, lashed out, calling me crazy, then stormed out the room to sleep on a couch. I returned to the bedroom and cried. I felt awful, petty, with no self-worth because of how he treated me. It's been like this for months, and he doesn't seem remotely interested in working on fixing the situation. I don't even think he cares about how hurt I felt as he heard me cry last night, but didn't try to comfort me even behind the door. I feel stuck and unable to figure out a way to deal with this. I feel mostly bad because I've made so much effort just for him, and this is how he reacted.
It sounds like he has contempt for you, and once contempt has crept into a marriage, it's very difficult to walk back from that. Can I ask, has he ever been cruel before? Have you two ever been through a rough patch, and how was that handled? How does he handle conflict generally? Was he supportive when you lost your mom? Have you two talked at all about how this year has been for you respectively? Are you working now, or is he supporting the household? I'm just trying to gain some context on your marriage, because from this situation I'm inclined to say he's just an asshole, but I recognize we're getting one slice of an entire marriage, so I want to gauge if this is completely out of character, or if it's just the worst manifestation of an overall lacking character. It's been 6 months of not sleeping in the same bed, no sex. This is the thing, OP. You expect one night of you dressing up, initiating sex, and he would suddenly jump into bed and voila, problem solved. I think something has been festering in your marriage by now, and it's been there for a while. Perhaps it's due to your life's incidents, losing parents, etc. Perhaps it's more. He may have given up in his mind because things have been bad for a while. Instead of trying to seduce him, you guys need to have a talk. You need to find out what's going on with him and what's going on with you. If this is worth saving, perhaps even go on marriage counseling. This certainly sucks, but you are going about this issue all wrong. You are doing so much work, which is admirable, but you are refusing to do the one thing that needs to be done here. Talk to your partner openly and honestly, and let him do the same. We have no idea what he is feeling, or why, and a sudden physical change by you doesn't mean his feelings are suddenly going to change. Despite what culture tells you, men are not just light switches that get flipped on at the drop of a hat. I disagree with everyone saying he's cheating, or that he's abusive. He tried to encourage you to make changes for a while, from what I gather from your post. Over time he grew distant and likely resentful, and although not mature, understandable. If you made all these changes suddenly, and try to act like you are ready to make everything better again after he's tried for a while, then you probably made him feel like his feelings weren't valid, not a priority. He didn't act maturely, nor respectfully. But you can't expect to not put in as much patience, again, from what I gathered from the post, as he did in the beginning. It doesn't happen overnight. Agree with what others have said. In addition, I think it's important to understand the value of time. From his perspective, he comes home one day to find you totally ready physically, emotionally, and sexually, in stark contrast to what you've been this past year. In turn, you expected him to jump when you were ready to jump. And then when he didn't enthusiastically jump with you, you accused him of cheating. I'm not saying it's all your fault, of course. He was mean, you went through a lot, and he could have been much kinder about rejecting you, especially if he just wasn't ready. But it's one of those things, it takes time. As much as it was great that you are finally back on the wagon, it takes time to celebrate that return together. It sounds like there is a lot of hurt on his end. There is, of course, a lot of hurt on yours. My advice is to not rush it. Meet your husband and relationship where it is and work from there. Also, don't play the blame game and don't accuse him of things that you aren't absolutely certain of. For example, you're certain he hurt your feelings when he rejected your advances. Talk to him about that. Don't assume his rejection could only be because he was getting it elsewhere, because that's really hurtful and doesn't address the underlying issue. Remember that he's a partner. And while you were going through a lot, so was he. Work it through together and be patient, as ugly sides of each other are bound to come out before things return to normal. It seems there's some distance between you and your partner that needs to be addressed and worked on. You probably would benefit greatly with couples therapy. His words are damaging, but usually are a manifestation of his feelings towards himself or resentment of something else. Maybe he is salty about something, dealing with something, or, like you, has suffered a great deal watching the person who is with struggle and be unable to do anything about it. WHO knows the idea now. IMO is what you can do to better things and move past this, which honestly would do great with someone to help you along the way. By him saying let's not start a fight or not wanting to go through with this may mean the norm is usually arguments amongst yourselves, and that's tiring. It just sounds like both of you have been hurt, and that you are stuck, and you slowly have to get out of this rut you are inches. If you try to get help and he refuses, that's when you have to ask yourself if this is worth it. You can control yourself but not others. Talk to someone on your own, and do what you can to improve yourself.